part of the theme down here. But this whole pathway through here, there'll be a 14-foot path that comes down to connect with the rest of the path straight down here, and this will be a greenway. It'll be landscaped, etc. So it's going to be a much more wide open green space than you might expect otherwise. I'm Josh, by the way. Hi, guys.
Hi. These skips and roll-offs are squatting. They're not supposed to be here.
Now, if you were here 40 years ago, you would have seen freight trains going down to the Italian market, coming across the river here. This bridge would close, right, allow them to get across. They'd go in this embankment, and they'd run next to Grace Ferry and right down the middle of Washington Avenue, serving all. In fact, when you go down Washington Avenue today, look carefully. You'll see a lot of railroad spurs in the sidewalk. Before trucks took everything, a lot of those industries received all their freight by train, and the freight trains would come over this. Now, if you were here 150 years ago, actually in 1863 to be precise, President Lincoln, as you know, went to Gettysburg to give the Gettysburg Address following the Battle of Gettysburg. He traveled from Washington up to Baltimore, where he took the Northern Central Railroad, much of which is now a rail trail, and which will be part of what's known as the Grand History Loop. It's a great system of trails going from Gettysburg to Washington by two routes, and the one route will use the existing Northern Central Trail, and then which becomes the York Heritage Trail. There's a continuous bikeway already from Baltimore all the way to York, and the York County Rail Trail Authority, for whom we're doing work, is also extending that. Now, Lincoln took that train. He changed trains at Hanover Junction. That station has been restored in the last 10 years. It's now a wonderful museum. They have a photo of Lincoln changing trains at that location. And he took the rail line that went to Gettysburg. However, at that time, there was no Secret Service. As you may know, the Secret Service is actually part of the Treasury Department. You'd say, well, why is that? And the answer is that originally, the president was protected by Treasury agents. Well, they got word that there was going to be an assassination attempt, that there was going to be a bomb and shooting, that when the train went through a cut on its way back to Baltimore, no more Mr. Lincoln. Well, fortunately, we, even in the 1860s, had a pretty neat railroad system. The existing railroad line that goes to Hanover directly provided a route that connected with the Pennsylvania Railroad in Harrisburg, and Mr. Lincoln was sent secretly back over the Pennsylvania Railroad. Well, remember I told you, until right after the Civil War, all the rail lines in Philadelphia just came to the edges of the city. It's like in Boston, where you have North Station and South Station, and you have to take a taxi in between. Well, Lincoln arrived at West Philadelphia Station, coming in through the main line, late at night, and was secretly bundled into a waiting cab, not a yellow cab, but a cab, with horse. And the windows were covered with curtains, and he was driven on a circuitous route, which has been outlined in Edwin Alexander's History of the Pennsylvania Railroad. He was taken east on Vine Street, up 21st. We actually have, of course, being on South Street, we were very proud that Mr. Lincoln visited South Street, although he didn't stop for very long, being in his secret cab. But the cab came down across South Street and ended up at Broad and Prime, now Washington, where he boarded a special night train of the Philadelphia, Wilmington, and Baltimore Railroad that came right up Prime Street, down Grace Ferry Avenue, and right past here, where he arrived back in Washington the next morning without incident. So this line played a very important role.
Where was the West Philly station?
At 32nd and Market.
Oh, okay, right where 30th Street is now.
Right where 30th Street is now. Then after the Civil War, the connecting railway was built, which then provided train service directly to West Philly, and then from West Philly a line was built across North Philadelphia to connect with the Kensington Railroad, and all these lines were interconnected. But up until the Civil War, they were all separate.